In the previous lecture, I have walked you through the account payable accounting PPT. So through that, I try to give you a heads up about the account payable accounting. Now we'll see all those steps in this practice sheet. So first of all, in this practice sheet, what we need to do, we need to create the business partner. So in that lecture, I have also told you that this business partner can be treated as a principal account, and below this principal account, we can attach a vendor number. We can also attach or assign customer number. So we also call it as a CVI integration. So through this business partner, we can integrate customer as well as vendor. So if the same customer is your vendor or other way around, so we can set up that CVI integration, customer vendor integration to the business partner. And also this business partner creation has become mandatory in the SAP S4 HANA. When you are trying to create the customer or vendor, then system is going to ask you for this BP number or business partner number. So this thing we can also check it. So we have both the system with us. So we have the ECC, SAP S4 HANA. So first we will try to use transaction code for the creation of vendor. It is XK01. So this transaction code I'm going to run first in the ECC system. So this is the ECC system, and for the creation of vendor, we can use transaction code XK01. If you want to go through the path, you can also follow the path. So let's press enter button. Now you can just see this kind of screen gets open in the ECC when we go for the creation of the vendor. And in this, what we need to provide, we need to give the company code ID. Then we need to also give the purchase organization account group. After that, we need to give the information in the master data of the vendor, and system is going to assign a vendor number. So that was the process, or that is the current process we have in the SAP ECC 6.0 version. But if I'm trying to create that same vendor in the SAP S4 HANA, let's see what will happen. So let's log in the SAP S4 HANA. And I'm using here the same transaction code XK01, that is the creation of the vendor. But this time we will see system will redirect us to this screen called create business partner first. So you can just see it is also giving you a notification that is redirecting you to the business partner screen as this transaction code XK01 is obsolete. So whenever you are going to set up, maintain, create any kind of blocking or any kind of master data changes or creation you want to have for your vendor or for your customer, so you need to use the single transaction code. It is the BP. Now, who could be your business partner? So business partner could be a person, it could be a organization, or it could be a association or a group. So that can be set up as a business partner. So in most of the time, we create an organization or company as a business partner. We can press enter button. Here, I'm also going to have a new screen. In that I am using this transaction code which system is suggesting. It is BP. So press enter button. Now you can just see this kind of screen will get open, and if you want to create the business partner, so you can just see three options here we have been given. So we have the person, organization, group. So if you just click on the organization, and this kind of master data will get open and you need to provide the information. So that is the difference we have between the ECC and SAP S4 HANA if we go for the creation of the customer or vendor master data. Actually, when we are creating the business partner, so in that what we need to do, we need to create the business roles. So a business partner can have multiple roles. So to your vendor, you can assign multiple role. Let's take example of vendor. So for this vendor, we have given the role. It is for the purchase organization, company code, then the general data role. And if the same vendor you want to give the role as a agent or as a treasury, so that kind of role we have been given under the business partner, and accordingly, as per the requirement, we can use the relevant role and assign it to our vendor or customer. So where we can find those roles, standard role provided by the SAP. For that, we will be using this path. So we need to go to the cross application component, and under that, we will be having a option called SAP Business Partner. So let's come out of the screen, and we need to go to the S Pro, IMG, because it is related to the development. So we need to go to the cross application component. After that, we have here the option called SAP Business Partner. Then below that, you have the option Business Partner, and below basic setting. And after this, we have the option called Business Partner Role. And here we have the first option called Define the VP role. Define the VP role, or we can also see the existing role provided by the SAP. So you can just see these are the standard roles provided by the SAP. So a business partner could be whom? So here we can just see a business partner could be your domestic customer. It could be your supplier. It could be a freelancer also. It could be a billing unit. It could be account holder. It could be a authorized drawer, and so on and so forth. So here, if I talk about from the vendor perspective, so from the vendor standpoint, we will be focusing on these three roles. These are going to be important for us if we want to process transaction for our vendor. So now there are two types of transaction we can process for our vendor. So one is the SAP FI direct invoice, and second is the SAP FI invoice linked with purchase order. So we want to process a purchase order based invoice. Okay. So if your requirement is the first one, you want to only create the FI direct invoice. It has nothing to do with the purchase order. In that case, along with the first role, that is the general role for your business partner. So you need to take this role provided by the SAP standard role. This is the BP finance role. And again, this number convention or the naming convention is going to be same in your real-time system also. So here we have the ID for the BP general data role ID. It is coming as 000. In the real time also, you will get 000. Then for the finance role for this business partner, we have been given FLVN means vendor. FLVN, and same way we also have for the customer, that is FLCU. So we'll also see that. But first, let's see the vendor. So we have FLVN00, that is for the FI role. And this is for those FI invoices. Okay. But if you want for your vendor, you want to create a purchase order. For that, we need to set up the information at a purchase organization level. And these are the setting which you need to maintain at a third level. And for that, we need to create this business partner, and we need to assign this third role called BP supplier role. BP supplier role, and this ID is going to be FLVN01. So how this is to be used? So for that, actually these are the standard role. We are going to use it. Okay. So we don't need to create it. We don't need to create it. Even if you want to create your own role, let's say you want to do some R&D, you want to create your own role, then what you do? You take the reference of the standard one. Let's say that this is the standard one. So you don't want to touch the standard one, you want to create your own. So better you just click on the you just select the standard role, click on the copy as option, and in that copy as, so whatever the ID you want to give, so that ID you can give for your BP role, and after that you can use it. But here we will be using these standard role provided by the SAP. Then after this we have the step number 2, where it is saying that we need to create the grouping ID. We need to create the grouping ID. So here we will be having two types of number ranges. So the first number range we will be maintaining for our business partner BP grouping, and the second number range we will be using for our vendor account group. So first is the BP group, second is the vendor account group, and for both of these two group you will be maintaining and assigning the number range. So here it is saying that how it is to be done. For that, again we need to follow the same path and just come out of here. Just come out of this business partner role, and then we have here this option called, under the basic setting we have the option number ranges and groupings. Number ranges and grouping, and here we can click on this define number ranges. Define number ranges for which object? You can just see for the BU partner means business partner object. And here you have two options. Either you use the standard number in the existing number in we have in the system, or you can create your own numbering, your own business partner numbering. But again, I'm saying when you are going to add your new number range, your own number range, so make sure that existing number should not overlap. So here you can just see we have the number range as 010203. Now, if you are trying to give a new numbering, that should not already exist in the system, that should be unique. So for example, if I'm trying to add 07, so 07 already exists. System will not allow you to add the new one with the same ID. Likewise, for your number range, whatever the interval you are giving, so that interval should not overlap with the interval we have already in the system. Otherwise, you will get the error message that this interval is overlapping. So here I'm going to use the existing number range, and this number range I'm going to pick it. It is 06. It is 06, and as per this 06, the number will start for your business partner from 20001 to 20100. So this, where we need to assign it, we need to assign it to our BP grouping ID. How it is to be created? For that, we need to come out of here. So here we have the next step: define groupings and assign number ranges. So define grouping simply in the simple words, it means define your business partner group ID. So you can just see this group ID we can create for our business partner. What is the length? So the length has been given by SAP up to the 4 character, we can maintain it. So let's click on the new entry button, and we need to give the ID. Let's have here the ID as BP. BP means business partner, and grouping ID I'm giving here BP66. So that is the 4 length ID I'm using, BP66. This is what? This is the BP grouping ID I'm using. I'm defining here the BP grouping ID for the company code 2266. And we'll also have here the short description and then long description. So the long description, let's have here the BP grouping for 2266, and after that system is asking for the number range. So let it be the number range as 06, which we have already in the system. Press enter button, save. Click on the save option and then enter. Now we can come out of here. Now we have the step number 4 where we need to create the vendor account. So in the previous lecture, I have told you that before you create for the vendor master data, you need to create the vendor account group, and these account group could be your domestic vendor, foreign vendor. It could be based on your material also. So which kind of material you are procuring from your vendor. So it could be raw material vendor, or it could be finished material vendor, and so on and so forth. So here I'm going to create a vendor account group, and at a account group level, so I shared with you that we have two controls. So first is the number range control. We can decide that what number we want to assign to our vendor under that particular group. Second is the field setter. So for our vendor master data under that particular group, we have been given the standard fields, and those standard fields will have the status like suppressed, required, option, and display. So what kind of status you want to choose it for a specific field, so that you can do it at which level, at a vendor account group level. And how it is to be done? So for this, it is saying that we need to use this transaction code. It is OBD3. So let's use transaction code OBD3, then enter. You can just see this vendor account group ID also. We can maintain up to the 4 character, could be alphanumeric. So let it be the ID. I'm going to create here. Click on the new entry, and I'm going to create here the ID as 2266. 2266. Then we can give the description. This is what vendor account group for the 2266. Now you can just see we have the control at a account group level, and this is the control we have, the field status control. So here we have been given the fields under these 3 segments, and we can decide that okay, which field we want to maintain, suppress, record, or optional, or display. So I'm going to double click on this, then I'll click on this address button. So double click on this. Now you can just see these many fields we have in the vendor master data, and we have these field on the page number 1. Same way you can navigate to the page number 2, 3, and so on and so forth. You can also come back. So we can go back to the previous page, and the status you can decide as suppress recorder option. So what is our requirement? So here we have one account number and we call it as a reconciliation account number. What is the relevance of that reconciliation account? I'll let you know. So let me open a PPT related to the reconciliation account. So we have one PPT with the name reconciliation account. Now in this PPT, I'm giving one example so that it will be clear to you what is this reconciliation account, why we use it. So you can just see on the right side, we have the vendor account. So these vendors are your X vendor and Y vendor, and these are also known as subledger account. So this is the first subledger account, and this is the second subledger account. Likewise, we can have many subledger account. But here in this example, if we are doing the purchase from this vendor X, and this purchase we made it with the amount 1000, payment we have made to him 500. Likewise, the purchase we made it from the second vendor, it is 10,000. Payment we have made to him 5,000. Now, at any given point of time, if I need to know my total purchase, my total obligation, so for that, what I need to do, I need to every time go to this vendor account and this vendor account, make a total of it. Then I can come to know my obligation, my outstanding, total outstanding. So this is possible if we have few accounts, okay, few vendors. But in the real time, we'll be having multiple vendors, 1,000, 2,000 vendors we'll have, and in those or in those vendor account, the business is doing the transaction every second. The transaction is getting happen. So in that case, it would be very difficult to drive the balance, total balance for a particular set of vendor. So let's say for my domestic vendor, how much is the total outstanding? For my foreign vendor, how much is my total outstanding? So for this reason, SAP has given us the reconciliation account. So this reconciliation account, you can just see, we can have it on the left side. This reconciliation account will do. So this reconciliation account, whatever the transaction business has made, user has made into this vendor account. So all those transaction system is going to populate in this reconciliation account automatically. So for example, here we made this transaction in the subledger. Now these subledger entries will become part of your main ledger. This will be your main ledger. So in the main ledger, we have the purchase from the vendor X, we have the purchase from the vendor Y. So this is our total purchase. We have the payment also made to the vendor X and Y, and this is my total outstanding. So instead of going to these subledger account, so we can go to this reconciliation account, find out our total outstanding which we need to pay to our vendor. So that is the purpose of having this reconciliation account. Here some bullet points about the reconciliation account. First is this reconciliation account is your control account. This is maintained in your GL. So the way you create your GL account with FS00, same way in the same screen, FS00 screen, you will be creating your reconciliation account. What it will do, it will process, it is going to determine all those transactions which you have posted in the subledger. So all those transactions will become part of your main ledger, your reconciliation account. And subledger here means your vendor number or vendor account. Then it is saying that why we need to have it. So we need to have it so that we can come to know our total outstanding, our total vendor outstanding at any given point of time. Then this amount we can, or this figure we can also present in the balance sheet, and we don't or we cannot post direct entries into the reconciliation account. That is important. Whenever you will be using any reconciliation account for the posting, general account posting, so this errors you will be getting that this is a reconciliation account and the direct posting is not allowed in the reconciliation account. Why? Because because system is automatically posting the transaction. So that is the reason manual posting of transaction are not allowed. Now we'll go back to the practice sheet. What we need to do it when we will be creating the vendor account group. So this reconciliation account field, we want to make it as required. Where we will find this reconciliation account field. So it will be under the account management at a company code level. That is the second segment. So we can just go back. So this is the general data level. Now you need to go to the company code level, double click on this, and then you need to go to the account management. So you will also have the fields under the payment transaction, correspondence, and accordingly as per the requirement, you can maintain them as suppressed, recorder, optional, or display. So here I will go to the account management where we have been given multiple fields. So our first field is reconciliation account. So present status is optional. I want to make it as mandatory. Then I'm going to save it. Click on the save option and then enter. So this is the vendor account group we have created. Now for this vendor account group, we need to also create the number range. And this number range we can create or we can use the existing one which we have in the system with the help of transaction code XKN1. So let's use this transaction code XKN1, XKN1, and then you can just see here it is showing you the vendor number range and the object name is creditor. K, it is starting with K. Why? Because the vendor has the account type K. So we can just click on the interval button and you can just see these are the existing number ranges we have. So we have the option to add the new number ranges or remove the number ranges if we don't require. And here I'm going to use a number range. It is going to be number range 02. Okay, so I'm going to take the number range 02 and this I need to assign it to my vendor account group ID. So how we can assign it? So we can just go back and make sure that whatever the number range you are using. So for example, I will go back to the XKN1, click on the interval button. So here you prefer to take the number range with this without checkbox option. Okay, so this checkbox means this is the external number range. So I want to have the number range internal. So if this checkbox is not ticked, then this number range is internal. So with this, what will happen? So if I will be giving this external number range every time, I need to give the vendor number. But with this internal system, going to give the number to your vendor automatically as and when you create any new vendor. So you prefer to have that number range, which is a internal under which we can give the number range assignment as a internal, not external. So now we can just go back and we can assign the same number range to our vendor account group with the help of the next step we have. And this step is step number 6, transaction code we can use it is OBAS. So let's use this transaction code OBAS. Here we can click on the position button. Vendor account group ID we are having it is 2266 and to this vendor account group ID I'm going to assign the number range 02. Vendor number range 02. Save it. Click on the save option. Then it is saying that the next step, step number 7, we have the CVI integration. What is this CVI integration? I explained to you that this is the customer vendor integration. So the full form of this CVI means customer vendor integration. So if the same customer is your vendor or same vendor is your customer, then both can be integrated with the help of your business partner. And how we can integrate it? So for that, we need to perform this step. So it is saying that you created two account group ID. One is your grouping ID, that is for your business partner, and second is your vendor account group ID. So you need to link both of these two ID under this step. And how it is to be linked? So for that, we can just come out of this screen, go to the IMG, and then we need to go to the same screen under the SPRO, under the cross application component. So it is under the master data synchronization. So where this master data synchronization, you can just see here we have the master data synchronization. And under this, we need to go to the customer slash vendor integration. Then go to the business partner setting. And then we can go to the, so when you are going to integrate your customer, so you will go for the customer integration. When you are going to integrate your vendor with your business partner, then you will be using this option vendor integration. So this customer will be using, we will be doing it later. So here currently we are doing the vendor integration. So that is the reason we can go to this setting for the vendor integration. And then further we can go to this option called field assignment for the vendor integration. Then go to the keys, assign keys, and here we have the option define the number range for your direction business partner to your vendor. So we want to have the integration of business partner to the vendor. So we'll select this first option. And here we need to click on the new entry button. What basically we need to do it here, you can just see here we need to assign our business partner grouping ID to our vendor account group ID. So how it is to be done, click on the new entry button. So if you remember the grouping ID we have maintained for our company code, it is BP66, and the account group ID we have created, it is 2266. Now press enter button, click on the save option and then enter. Press enter button and then we can come out of here. So this CVI integration step is completed. Now let's start creating the GL. So we'll be doing the transaction with the vendor, and these transactions are your purchase payment. So for the purchase, we'll be doing the procurement. Okay, so for the processing of procurement, we need to create the invoice. So here we are talking about the direct FI invoice. So when we are posting the direct FI invoice, for that we need to use the consumption GL or material account. So this material account now we are going to set up in the system through the transaction code FS00. And the second account we are going to create for our vendor, that is going to be the reconciliation account. We'll also understand how this reconciliation account control your subledger accounts. So let's go to the transaction code FS00, and this consumption account, I'm going to take it, I'm going to create it under the account group expense, and for this I'm going to take the account type as a primary cost. So for the expense, we have maintained the number in starting with 400,000 to 4999. So let it be the GL number is 400,000 in the company code 2266, and then we can click on the new entry button. So here I'm going to take the GL account type as primary cost, and then we can give the account group ID as expense, and then we can have the short text long text. So let it be the short text long text as raw material consumption account, raw material consumption account. Then we can go to the control data tab and we can select this checkbox only balance in local currency. Sort key we can give it as posting date, which is 001, and then we can scroll down. Here you can just see because we have selected the GL account type as primary cost, so system has enabled this controlling area setting where system is asking for the cost element category because it is a cost element GL. So here this cost element system will trigger for all your expenses and income. Okay. So because it is the expense, that is the reason system is asking for the category. So that category we will be giving as 01 primary cost. Primary cost. Then we can just go to the next tab, bank interest tab. Go to the bank interest tab. Here because it is a consumption account, we can take the GL G004 cost account and then save. Click on the save option. So this is the first GL we have created. Now the second GL we need to create, that is the reconciliation account. And for the creation of this reconciliation account, so we need to have here the vendor number. Sorry, we need to have here the reconciliation account number. And this reconciliation account number I'm taking, it is randomly I'm taking this number as 100 500. So this account GL reconciliation account, I'm going to create it under the account group liability. For this liability, we maintain the GL number in starting from 100,000 to 199,999. So I selected this GL number randomly as 100 500 in the company code 2266, and then we can go to the type and description. Here we can select the GL account type as, because it is a balance sheet account, let's select the account type as balance sheet, and we can take here the account group as liability, and we can give the name as, this is what, sundry creditor account. Let's give the name as sundry creditor account, enter. Then we can go to the control data tab, and in this we can deselect this checkbox only balance in local currency, and then we can give the sort key as 001 posting date. So when you are going to create any reconciliation account, so you can just see here we have one field called recon account for the account, reconciliation account for the account type. What does it mean? So system is going to ask for the account type whenever you will be creating any reconciliation account, because it is a reconciliation account. So what we need to do? So from the drop down, we need to select the correct relevant account type. So because it is related to the vendor, we can select the account type as vendor. And this you will be doing whenever you will be creating any reconciliation account. Now from this drop down, we can just understand this reconciliation account. We can create it for the asset customer also, but here for the time being, we can create it for the vendor. So then we can go to the bank interest tab. So for this reconciliation account, the field status group SAP has given a standard, and this is going to be the reconciliation account. The name is also reconciliation account, and this field status group ID is G067. G067. So let's select this G067. After that, we can just press enter button, save it. So this is how we have created the reconciliation account. Now what next we need to do? Now let's create the vendor master data, or let's create the subledger account. So for the subledger account, again, you can refer to the transaction code XK01, or you can also use transaction code BP. So select the new transaction code we have, BP. BP stands for business partner. Then after that, we need to click on the organization. Click on the organization. And then you can just see here, we have the screen where we need to give the business partner number. We need to also define the role. And then we need to also give the grouping ID. So this role system is going to take automatically. Okay. We don't need to like deselect anything. So it will come automatically. And the first role always we need to select it is a 000 for our vendor or for our customer. This is going to be the business partner general role. General role. So all it will be by default. And if it is not coming, something else is coming. So you can scroll down and select this business partner general role. Then on the right side, you will have the grouping. And for this also, we have been given the drop down. Remember the grouping ID we have maintained for our business partner as BP66. So that BP66, we can take it here. So this is the one business partner grouping for 2266. After this number, you can just see business partner number. We are expecting the system to provide this number automatically as and when we save the information in the business partner master data. So this is called master data. In this master data of your business partner, we need to give the name of the business partner. Let it be the name as Hitachi Air Conditioner. And for this, we can just go down. We can give the address. Then we can also give the postal code. Let it be 22661. Then we have the city name, country ID, and then we can just go down. So in this master data, this language is also a mandatory field. So let it be the language for this vendor as English. Then after that, we can just see here we have been given multiple tabs. Okay, it is not mandatory that you need to maintain the information for a business partner for all of these tabs. So we can provide the information in the relevant tab. So this is the information, minimum information we can maintain for our business partner. With this, we can just click on the save option, save. Now you can just see system has given you your business partner number. It is 20,021 or 221. Okay, so that is the number we have received. Now with this number, you will not be able to create your purchase order. Okay, or you will not be able to create your FI invoice. So for the creation of the FI invoice, you need the subledger number. You need the vendor number. So how to get that number? So for that, you need to make the changes in the role. So presently we have the role as general role. Now switch to the second role. What is the second role? You just go back to the practice sheet. Here we have the second role. We need to find out the second role from the system and assign it to our business partner. So this is FLVN00. So how to find out? So you can just see here it is just showing you couple of roles. Now you need to click on this change button. Click on the change option. Or here we also have the change button. You can go either ways. Then we can just again go back to the change in the BP role. Now you can just see all BP roles are coming. We need to go for the FLVN 00. You can just see here we have the role called supplier in the bracket financial accounting. So that is the FI role. We want to have it for our supplier. Now with this, you will notice here the system has given you, here we have now multiple tabs. Like the second observation is you will now start getting here, we have this button called company code. We can click on this. And now you can just see this general data button got enabled so that we can go back to the general data level. So that is how we can maintain the information in the different level of the vendor master. So now let's keep on the company code, and you can just see system is asking for the company code ID. And here if you just notice, we have the field for the customer and we have also field for the supplier. And here it is showing you for your supplier field, it is showing you internal. Why it is coming internal? Because we have chosen the number range internal. That is the reason. So system is going to give you the vendor number automatically. So after the, let's say this is the vendor now, same vendor you want to also create as a customer. So you need to come here under the same partner ID, you will be able to create that customer. Okay, now let's keep the focus on the vendor supplier field right now. In this, you need to give the information for the company code, let it be 2266. And after that, we can just go to this option called company code. Click on this. So here you can just see it is saying that this business partner you want to create it for 2277, and this business partner for this 2277 you want to create it with whom, like this kind of integration we want to have it of BP with the supplier, with the vendor. So you take this checkbox for the supplier and then you click on this adopt button. Click on this check button, choose. Now you can just see this check button has come, and now you will also notice here the fields we have in these tabs. Okay, like the field we have under the tab called vendor account management. Under this we have so many fields. So all these fields got enabled. So we can provide the information in these fields. So the important fields are the reconciliation account field. So this reconciliation account number we can assign here. Press F4 key, and again whatever the reconciliation account number you created, so system will just show you all those reconciliation account number. Since we have created the single one, that is the reason we can just see here the single one. So let's assign this one only. After that we have the information in the sort key field. Let it be the sort key field as 001, that is the posting date. Enter. Now we can just save it. Click on the save option, and here we can go to the next tab called payment transaction. Payment transaction. Here also you will have the fields. Okay, so we have the field like the terms of payment. So under the terms of payment, we can agree with the vendor that after how many days from the date of purchase we are going to make the payment. So if these are going to be 10 days, 20 days, 30 days, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. So accordingly, we can mention that number of days in our terms of payment. So how to create the terms of payment? For that we have a dedicated topic. We'll do it later. But here for the time being, we need to assign the terms of payment. Although it is not a mandatory field, let's select the standard one, which is 0001. So let it be the first one, 0001. With this, what will happen? It is saying that the day you will do the purchase, same day your invoice will get due. The invoice will get due immediately. And after that, we can press enter button, and now we can just save. Click on the save option. So you can just see here, system has given you the supplier number as 10518. So this is your business partner ID and this is your supplier ID. Now for the supplier, we can now post the invoices, but for the posting of invoices, we need to provide the number ranges under the relevant document type for the purchase, payment, purchase return. So what are these document type? So for these document type, we need to go to the step number Step number 10. Okay. So what are the document type we are going to use it for the vendor? So we will be using the document type here, KR, KZ and KA. So KR is for the purchases. All those purchase document we are going to group it under the KR. And all those payment document we are going to group it under KZ, and all the purchase return document we are going to group it under the document type KA. And how, where we can assign that numbering. So for this we need to run this transaction code OBA7, enter. Then we can click on position button, we can search for the document type KR, enter. So it is saying that this is the vendor invoice, so we can just go to the detail of it, and we can just see here, we can observe the number range is coming as 19. Click on the number in information button, let it be the company code ID 2266. We can mention here the company code ID 2266. Click on the change interval, and here we can add new interval. Number range system is just showing in the previous screen, it was 19. So let it be the number range as 19 for the year 2024, and it is starting from, let's say, 3 all 012, 3 all 012, 4 all 0, 4 all 0, enter. And I'm going to save it. Click on the save option. Then we can go back, and same way we can maintain the numbering for the next document type. We have KZ. So we can just go back, click on position button, document type KZ, go to the detail option. We have the number range 15. Click on the number range information button, company code ID, change interval, add interval or add number range. It is 15. This is what system is just showing us on the previous screen. And this interval I'm going to have it. It should be starting from 5 all 0 to 6 all 0. Enter. Save. And the last third one we have KA. So for that again you need to go back. And here we have the position document type as KA. Go to the detail. Here we can just see the number range coming as 17. Go to the information, company code, and then change interval. Add interval, add number range. It is 17, 2024, starting from 6 all 0 to 7 all 0. Save. So we have maintained the number ranges for all our document type for the relevant document type KR, KZ, and KA.